What's going on, everyone? It is the Durf, and in today's video we're busting out Deimosuffusion and putting it in an OG Strand Warlock build. Listen, Guardian Games is upon us, and Warlocks we need to represent with some of our best possible builds out there so we can wipe the competition as well as the other classes. Yes, Warlocks, I'm calling on you, and I'm hoping you can use a build like this in good faith. This build features infinite healing, suspending detonations, and is one of the easiest to use in harder activities. So if you are going for that top 10% score, this build is for you. You will basically suspend the entire battlefield at a given notice, and you can alternate between Weaver's Trance and your Healing Rift. So let's get it started. Hopefully you guys like the build. Let me know in the comments. So for this OG Deimosuffusion build, we're running, of course, the OG Strand class with Needlestorm as our super. For abilities, I prefer using the Healing Rift, especially during difficult activities. Now, it's important to note that running Deimosuffusion is actually more potent in the more difficult activities. You don't get as many benefits from all of your abilities, so to speak, if you are just running simple content. For something like that, you want more of a chaotic build, which I'll be making here in the future. I prefer the Burst Glide, Arcane Needle for its triple stack, and the Shackle Grenade is going to be pivotal here. Now, we're not going to be using this in the traditional sense. We're going to be consuming it and therefore adding to the suspend effect of this build. Again, this build is all about suspending the world. So wherever you find yourself battling, even in Guardian Games, which is coming up, or, you know, wherever, raids, dungeons, things where there's a lot of enemies, you're going to want the Shackle Grenade. But again, we're not using it in its normal sense. For aspects, first up is going to be Weavewalk, double press. Dodge while airborne to consume your melee energy. Enter the weave, gaining damage resistance from combatants and players. Reactivate your air dodge or cast your rift to exit the weave, generating woven mail for you and nearby allies. While in the weave, your melee energy is drained and you generate perched threadlings over time. Now, your perched threadlings are going to go out after enemies when you are attacking them. Now, whether that's using a sword or a gun, it doesn't really matter. If you're attacking enemies and there's enemies near you, your threadlings are going to leave your side and go out and try to attack enemies. One of the things that people don't like about Weavewalk, but you have to get used to it if you want to use this aspect, is in order to activate this, you have to be airborne. In other words, if you're walking or running and you double press, you won't activate Weavewalk. And this could be particularly annoying if you are in a very busy activity or an activity where you have some damage modifiers, where not getting out of danger quick could result in you needing a revive. So if you don't like Weavewalk, you can absolutely substitute this out with the Wanderer. The Wanderer is going to do ultra extra suspending detonations. And one of the things that's good about the Wanderer is you have the ability to add more suspension in your build. But the Weavewalk works way better because in busier and harder activities, a build like this is going to be all about kind of ducking and dodging, kind of militia gunfight. You know, if you're hacking and slashing, the Weavewalk is going to help you get out of trouble and also give you some buddies on the side, which is going to add to your ability to put out damage. Next aspect is going to be Mind Spun Invocation. We're going to hold to consume our Shackle Grenade and activate Weaver's Trance. Final blows while Weaver's Trance is activated creates a suspending detonation. So the way that the gameplay loop is going to work is you are either going to activate your class ability when you are running into a group of enemies, or you're going to activate Weaver's Trance before starting to hack and slash or shoot a bunch of enemies. Once one of those runs out, you're going to activate the other. So if you activate your class ability and you are suspending enemies, maybe you're suspending a champ. Once you wear that champ down or all enemies that were suspended, that's when you activate your Weaver's Trance and go ahead and keep continuing. If you do this, now it's not going to be a seamless loop, but if you do it in that order or just one after the other, you theoretically will always have something on tap. Now, if you run out and you don't have either on tap, remember, you still have your arcane needle to use as extra damage when dealing with enemies. And again, some of this is going to be based on the activity. A very busy activity, you're going to see returns on all of your energies a lot quicker. If you're just running solo ops, this build probably isn't going to shine above many others. For Fragments, first up is going to be Thread of Wisdom. Defeating suspended targets creates an orb of power. Kind of common sense. We're all about suspending in this build, so we're going to get our orbs of power. And remember, suspending enemies, you can stun unstoppable champions when you suspend them. Next up is going to be Thread of Warding. Picking up an orb of power grants Woven Mail. Woven Mail, of course, is going to give you, I think it's a 25% damage reduction, so make sure you have that on. Next up is going to be Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. We want as much grenade energy back to us as possible because we want to be able to consume as many shackle grenades as we need to. Next up is going to be Thread of Mind. Defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. This is where the busier activities are going to make this build shine the most. When you're running solo ops, you got 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 enemies around you at any one time. If you're running general fire team ops, which again, I know you guys are watching the intro gameplay and you're like, well, that didn't really look that busy, Durf. I get it, but that's kind of to prove my point that you're going to have to play at a specific speed. Defeating all suspended targets grants you class ability energy. So if you're running an onslaught or an ultimate level like Reclaim, for example, or maybe something where there's just a lot of enemies in general, maybe you're running, Equilibrium and, you're low manning it, whatever. Thread of Mind is going to give you class ability energy back as you defeat suspended targets. So the more suspended targets you defeat, the more enemies you slide into and slide around, the better it is. Now, keep in mind, defeating suspended targets doesn't just mean activating your class ability. This is also while you have Weaver's Trance rolling. So you activate your Weaver's Trance while your class ability is recharging. Guess what? When your Weaver's Trance runs out, your class ability is back. So these two are going to work very well together. So the gameplay loop, like I was talking about, is going to be one or the other. But if you are running out of as far as what to activate first, but when you are alternating, when you defeat the suspended enemies and you get your class ability back, that's when you use that. And then obviously as you're dealing damage with that, you're going to generate grenade energy. So that's why in the heavier activities, or the harder activities with more enemies, the more damage you put out, the more grenade energy you get back. So in harder activities, these two are going to basically instigate your energies back, grenade and class. I know that was a lot of words that I just threw at you. So the too long didn't read is activate your Weaver's Trance to get your class ability back. Makes sense? Last up is going to be Thread of Continuity. Now this one, depending on what aspects you have, you might have this one or you might not have this one. Suspend, Unravel, and Sever effects applied to targets have increased duration. This isn't super necessary to run on just general activities, which is why if you don't want to run Weaver's Trance, you will end up losing this anyways because you'll only have 4 fragments. But this one in harder activities, again, they're going to take damage over time if they're suspended. So again, that's adding to your grenade energy regen. For stats, I recommend speccing into class, super, and then evenly split between grenade and weapons. Now, the key here is you want to have, at nothing else, you want to have at least 100 in class and 100 in grenade. The reason that you don't need much more than that in grenade or class is because obviously we're just doing it for the ability regen, not the damage output. So if you're going to go purposely over 100, super is really the only one that you're going to want to throw extra points into. Now, you could dump the weapon stat and only throw it into super, or I guess technically you could dump some more points into melee. So you could theoretically have 100 in melee, grenade, super, and class, and next to nothing in weapons and health. Either way, both are going to work. We're not hyper dependent on our melee in general because we have 3 stacks of it. And unless you're using Weaver's Trance for an obscene amount of time, it takes you forever, I guess, to find a corner to hide behind to get your health back. You're going to always have something to call upon. For weapons, there are 3 options that I think are great. The first up is the Praxic Blade. If you want to hack and slash your way till your heart's content, put on the Praxic Blade with Impact Core and Hyper Blade, and you're going to be golden. If you want more shackle grenade consumption, I highly recommend putting on Giver's Blessing or a weapon in general that has Demolitionist, because every kill you get with it is going to give you grenade energy back, which means more grenade energy means more Weaver's Trance. All or nothing. Let's talk about this one for a second. This is an interesting combination. Tear and Firefly paired together. Precision final blows cause nearby targets to become severed. Cooldown between activations are reduced. Firefly is, of course, solar explosive damage during precision final blows. This is an interesting combination if you are looking for more distance splash damage. You don't get that a lot with Giver's Blessing except for the kinetic tremor part, but you're mainly using that for, you know, the area effect and your grenade energy back. And of course, Hack and Slash Parallaxic Blade is up close and personal. But All or Nothing is a really good pulse rifle if you haven't farmed for it, where you have this kind of roll. You have the ability to, from a distance, cause more splash damage, which makes it arguably a really good weapon to use if you're looking to cause as much damage as possible, but you don't want to use the Parallaxic Blade. Again, there's other kinetic weapons you can use, or weapons in the kinetic slot you can use, but I'm thinking something where you might have the chance to stun a champ and also deal some extra debuff, you know, with the Scorch damage. Hey, I'll take it, right? So these are the three options that I think would work, and it's going to be based on your play style. Some people are just sick of the Parallaxic Blade. Believe me, I get it. Giver's Blessing is still uber potent, so I highly recommend that. And then All or Nothing, if you've never messed around with that, go take it on the moon, or, you know, take it to your favorite farming spot and just see what it feels like when you've got something similar to what you see on the screen. For the energy slot, anything and everything that you find complementary to what you are running. Again, my setup, because I've got the Parallaxic Blade here, and again, yes, I did test this with other weapons, but this is just what I have for this video. I have the Sciaturna because, of course, it stuns overloads, but you could also run Graviton in this spot. Now, Graviton will do two things. It'll cause obscene amounts of area damage, splash damage, I should say, and it'll help get your grenade back even faster, even though it doesn't have a Demolitionist, you know, trait inside of the weapon. But one of the reasons why this works really well is because you can shoot at enemies from a distance, and in really busy activities, when you have Weaver's Trance activated, guess what? Everything that you kill is going to suspend, which means you get purple explosions plus suspending detonations. That's a pretty lethal combination. There's other ways I've used that in past videos. We can talk about it. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want me to address that directly. I can make a build or revisit a build, you know, so you guys can take advantage of that and see how ridiculous that gets. But the main point is splash damage, area damage, chunk damage. Kind of has to depend on what you are running in this slot, what you put in this slot. For the heavy weapon, I highly recommend either Submersion, Heliatus, or the refurbished A499. If you're not worried about champs, you don't have to run a bow. You can put rocket launcher, you can put you know, a machine gun, you can put a linear, fusion rifle, whatever you want for damage in this slot. But if you are running harder activities, which again, this build is going to shine in the more difficult activities, the more busy activities than just general fun like my intro video, you may have to mod for champs. So each weapon choice is going to be on purpose for your specific style of play. So Deimosuffusion. Deimosuffusion was one of the exotic armors that I wrote off very early after its release. Probably none harder that I wrote off than Deimosuffusion, because I thought, well, there's so many other ways to suspend enemies. I don't really see the point in it. And also there's better exotics that I can use in a strand build. However, in harder activities, kind of like Eunoia, when I did my videos on that exotic armor, Malevolent Grasp works so much better in a very difficult, very busy activity than just running general, you know, hanging out with your buddies type stuff. But let's talk about Malevolent Grasp. While Strand Super is equipped, casting Rift will suspend nearby combatants. Suspend deals damage over time, which heals you in the process. Targets who break free from suspension suffer additional damage. Defeating suspended targets heals you a moderate amount. So there's a lot of things happening that all kind of revolve around the same thing, and that's giving yourself the ability to heal yourself while running a strand a strand build. Strand is not known for being able to give you health back because all you have is damage reduction with your woven mail. So that's one way that it shines. The other way that it shines is while these targets are suspended, they get dealt additional damage. So whether that's from your Mind Spun Invocation or it's from your Malevolent Grasp, your Rift, Malevolent Grasp is going to be activated. It doesn't know the difference. So in harder activities, in very busy activities, in activities where you are overwhelmed, that's where a build like this is going to shine because it's going to help you get out of jail. And then, of course, if you are running if you are running, oh my goodness, why am I blanking? Sorry, you guys can yell at me in the comments. If you are running Weavewalk at the same time, you'll be able to, while these enemies are suspended, activate your Weavewalk, get out of dodge, get some green buddies on your side, and then deactivate your Weavewalk and possibly go right into Weaver's Trance and start doing it all over again with some green buddies on your side. It allows you to do like 3 different styles of attacking while managing crowd control and even more importantly, healing yourself in the process. So I'm glad I tried this in more difficult activities because I never would have pushed people to try it on their own if I hadn't done that. Because in general activities, if you're running around on the moon, for example, or just doing regular Fireteam Finder, which like what you saw in the intro video, it's not going to be as noticeable of a benefit to use something like this. But if you're running like an exotic mission on Ultimate where there's a lot of enemies, yeah, you're definitely going to notice it. So definitely give it a try if you haven't. As far as the rest of the build goes, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod that you need. For the helmet, make sure you put on Dynamo. You reduce your super cooldown while using your class abilities. And I highly recommend running double kinetic siphon or siphons in the enemies that are going to be, or the weapons that are going to be your main ad clear weapons. You won't have a problem getting your super back with this build. Believe me, the more enemies around when you activate your class ability, the more you get funded towards your super. For the gauntlets, go ahead and put on Focusing Strike. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack. Heavy-handed, because of course we're consuming our shackle grenades, so we're not using our grenade. And Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expanded, your armor charge is consumed and you gain grenade energy for each armor charge used. This is one of the ways that you can spam your shackle grenade. Again, it's not an instant spam like other Warlock builds or Hunter builds or Titan builds, but it does help improve the flow. For the chest armor, go ahead and spec into one of each of the elemental resistance mods. For the legs, make sure you put on Absolution. I have double Absolution. I think it works better because I want my grenade and class ability back faster, but you can dump these for the grenade regen and the class regen one on another. Just remember, you're kind of neglecting your melee regen if you do that. And then better already is better than recuperation. So if anyone debates you, you heard it here. For the class item, make sure you put on your class font so that, you get your class ability back as fast as humanly possible. Make sure you put on Bomber so you get your shackle grenade back. And then because we're going to use our class ability all the time, Reaper is necessary here. You get free orbs of power, which gives you your armor charges. Go and spec into whatever general weapon mod that you need, depending on what you're running. In the second column, make sure you put on Elemental Siphon and Expert Handling. In the third column, make sure you put Non-Kinetic Synthesis and Riposte if you are running a sword. Otherwise, go ahead and put it into Press the Advantage. In the fourth column, make sure you put on Dielectric if you run inside Eterna. Put on Counter Energy and Combination Argent Blade. Again, Combination Argent Blade if you are running the Praxic Blade. Otherwise, dump that and put that in Armor Smith. In the fifth column, make sure you put on Kinetic Rupture if you're running the Praxic Blade or Giver's Blessing, and make sure you throw on Sword Storm combo. Now, if you are not running the Praxic Blade, dump Sword Storm combo for Elemental Orbs Arc or Sniper's Mediation, depending on if you need an additional way to pierce barrier champs, because again, intrinsically, the blade can do that. So just, you're going to have to mod this up however you have your weapons, but how I have it, if you are just going for a test drive on what I've got on the screen, this is how I have mine set up. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know how you would change it up. Let me know what weapons you are running with, because again, I gave you guys a bunch of options based on your playstyle. You absolutely do not have to run the Praxic Blade. If you're sick of it, you want something different, put on All or Nothing. Let me know how that works. You'll stun Overload champs, and oh, by the way, you'll cause solar splash damage, which is ridiculous, as well as sever from getting precision kills. But either way you go, Deimosuffusion shines in harder activities. So when you're done with your test drive, if you're like, man, I don't know, I feel like the ability energy just, the regen just isn't there, Durf. Is this really worth my time? I challenge you, go run, let's see, what's a good one to run? Go run Foothold, Battleground Foothold on Grandmaster or Ultimate. Let me know how it runs on that versus whatever other activity. Don't try running Altar of Sorrows. Don't try running solo ops with it. Run it in a busier activity intentionally. You can do it on a reduced difficulty if you're just doing a trial run. But if you're not satisfied with the ability regen or what the benefits that you get from it, put on the weapons that you feel most comfortable with, and then go try Battleground Foothold. Just run that intro scene and see how it feels for you there. The only downside to this build is going to be super. And that's because obviously we're doing more crowd control and suspension control, and you're not going to be able to suspend bosses. So that is the only downside to this build. But the rest of it, which means you're going to have to rely on your weapons for DPS, but the rest of it is going to shine the harder the difficulty. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of the build, and also how you guys are changing it up if you're not using the Praxic Blade or what I've got on the screen. Anyways, if you guys did find anything helpful in this video, feel free, please like and subscribe. If you know a Guardian out there who could benefit from a build like this, or who's looking to fine-tune their Deimosuffusion build, make sure you share this video with them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the video description, and if by chance you guys are looking for a non-toxic gaming community, I highly recommend hopping in my Discord. I will have a link in the video description. But people are getting ready for Guardian games coming up. People are still pairing up, farming the dungeon, farming different activities, getting their armor right. Yes, I know we have a delay in the Bungie-verse for the next major update, but people are still palling around the galaxy, offering to help others complete things that they haven't completed before, or just kind of blew up, but now that we have some extra time, are getting back to it to get these things done. Anyways, I'm going to switch over to some more gameplay, and then we'll wrap it up. So I've got the boss battle here to showcase a couple of weaknesses. Number one, with the build like this, you have to be running on harder difficulty. Simply speaking, you'll see in the lower left hand of your screen, my energy does run out and I don't have a way to regenerate it because, of course, there's not many enemies around. That's going to be problem number one. Problem number two is going to be overall damage output against an actual boss like what you see on the screen here. Without your weapons, you don't have a lot of abilities to rely on to do boss damage. Those are going to be your two big weaknesses. But in Guardian games, that's not going to be an issue because there's going to be a plethora of enemies at all difficulties. So let me know what you guys think of the build. Let me know if there's a way that you like to mod it so that you can do more damage in different activities where there's not a lot of enemies. I look forward to reading your comments. Hopefully you guys like the video and the build. I will see you guys next time. Thanks as always for your support. Take care.